you know does help you get a job. So if you put references available on request and you don't let people know who those references are, you're limiting your options for actually getting back to work. So if you're going to put references on your resume, let people know who those references are, what they say about you, and how they can vouch for your skill. It's a great way to actually jump from a page.
Wonderful. And make sure that those references know that they might be contacted too, right?
Call ahead of time. That's definitely true.
Okay. Number 4, researching the company but not training for the interview.
You know, getting a job is actually like training for a marathon. And, you know, a lot of people just go to the company's website and they research the company's information, but they don't train for the interview. And this is from everything from eye contact to how you actually build rapport and connect with your interviewer, to how you talk about your skills and your contribution. So training for the interview is an excellent way to get a job, not just researching the company's information on their website.
All right. And the last but not least, we're talking about 5 common mistakes job hunters make.
Right.
Become a couch potato while searching for a job. Now, that doesn't sound very proactive.
It doesn't sound, but you'd be surprised. A lot of people just send out tons of resumes online and they sit back and they wait. But today, you know, it's really about getting your skills out there. It's about sharpening your skills even while you're waiting for a job. So learn a new language, you know, like Spanish or Japanese, or learn a language that actually helps you to position yourself for new opportunities down the road while you are waiting for work. And definitely go out and volunteer your skills. It's an excellent way to get back to work.
Well, thank you, Kaplan. I feel so motivated. You're such a great speaker.
Thank you so much.
Now, you're going to be available tomorrow at the Aulani Resort where you're going to be speaking, and
yes.
it's open to the public.
It's open to the public. The MPI Foundation I'm here speaking on behalf of that organization, doing a career development session on the 10Ks of personal branding. It will be at the Disney Aulani property, and it starts at 12 noon. And I'm just really excited to be here, my first time in Honolulu.
Welcome. Well, you'll enjoy Aulani, and it's a beautiful resort. And they've also hired hundreds of local workers as well, just opening last month.
And the MPI Foundation has done a really great job to help promote career development.
Great. All right. And for more information, kaplanmobray.com.
That's right.
Okay. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, coming up on Wake Up today, we're going to tell you who moved on the X Factor, the top 12, that is. That's coming up.
Scott.
All right, Brittany, thank you so much. We are talking about getting a job. It is so tough these days, and our next guest says you might just be sabotaging yourself without even knowing it, and he knows. Kaplan Mobray is the author of this book, The 10Ks of Personal Branding, and there are 5 common mistakes that a lot of people make. And let's face it, I mean, you have to know what you want and how to get it these days, don't you?
You definitely need to know what you want, because the opportunity for time is so short, so go for that opportunity.
Yeah, you get one shot, don't you?
One shot. One shot.
Back in the day, there were so many jobs to choose from, but it's so different these days. Let's talk about these mistakes. Number 1, you say focus only on posting resume online and less on networking in their field. That's what the mistake that people make.
A lot of people just post a resume and they sit back and wait. But you still have to get out and network and connect with people, because then it makes your likability factor jump from a page and helps people to actually sponsor you for opportunities.
Do you think some people just intimidated by networking?
They are. I think some people are afraid to just go out and kind of meet people, but that's the way you get a job today, really putting yourself out there.
Number 2, forget to include references who can vouch for them as a great candidate. That seems like an easy thing.
It is, but we're still in the age of who you know does support what you do in terms of your job. And it is an age where people can support you and get you into that opportunity. So it's really important to actually connect with people. There are great tools online like LinkedIn, etc., where you can connect with someone before you even get an interview. It actually makes you jump off a page.
Forget to check their online identity.
That's right.
Because that is so big right now.
Your online brand and your offline brand should be consistent. But a lot of people go into the interview with their great resume, but then they've got all these crazy pictures on Facebook.
You don't want
different
pictures
posts.
of your nude or, well,
no,
nude, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. And because of that, they may be denied the opportunity, even though they are a great candidate. So your online brand and your offline brand should be very consistent.
Because a potential boss is going to do some checking, right?
They're going to do some checking. And they do some checking.
Research the company without training for the interview.
You know, getting a job is like training for a marathon. A lot of people just research the company, but they don't train on their personal appearance, their attire, their tone of voice, their eye contact. So it's really important to focus on preparing yourself for the interview, not just researching the job.
And then folks don't use the time they don't have a job to build new skills.
Right. If you're sitting on the couch just waiting, you are doing yourself a disservice. Get out there and learn a new language, get more tech savvy, volunteer your time to actually build your skills. But that's the way that you get back to work, because your future employer will look at what you did when you were out of work as what you'll do as when you are in a job.
Kaplan, thank you so much. He's here all the way from New York City.
That's right.
He's going to be speaking over at ASU today. And by the way, when he speaks to people, he plays his saxophone to get people interested. I think that's really cool. But you can pick up the 10 Ks of personal branding anywhere you might go buy a book. So thank you,
so
for coming in, and best of luck to you. Coming up.
Fox 5 Money Watch.
Welcome back. 9:13 is your time now, and the New York Times calls them Generation Limbo. And these are highly educated 20-somethings who've graduated from college, made good grades, only to enter a very bleak job market with little or no job prospects. But our next guest says just because your career is stuck in neutral doesn't mean you have to be. Joining us this morning, career consultant and author Kaplan Mobray with the 10 Ks of personal branding. And Kaplan, if you're like me, my parents drilled it into my head, make good grades, go to college, get out, get successful, boom, done.
Right. But a job is not automatic. It is not automatic today to get a job. But what you want to do is, in the absence of building your bank account, you can still build experience. And so one of the things you can do if you are waiting for a job or even graduating waiting for a job is to become global. Have a global mindset that really positions you as someone who is worldly and can build your skills.
Okay, and you also say become bilingual.
Yeah, it's very important today, that skill and scale. So companies are looking at how they can market you to future employers or market you for future services. So if you're waiting for work, learn another language. It's a great way to build your skill, bolster your resume, and position you to actually rise from the top of the stack when resumes are looked at.
Is there one you recommend?
Spanish. I would actually recommend Spanish. We're in an age, we're actually, this is Hispanic Heritage Month. We are in an age where the Spanish language is really essential now across the globe in terms of effectiveness for jobs.
And you recommend that people kind of think outside of the box, meaning you want to be this, but it's okay to go this way if you have to.
It's if you have to. The key is transferable skills. So if you are a pastry chef, if you're a photographer, if you're someone who likes graphic design, you still have transferable skills that can apply for when you go for that plum job that you really want. The key is to think focused on your skills and how you can contribute them across many different industries.
Right, so you can go off track.
You can go off track.
But just not for a long, long time.
Just not for a long time. It's okay to go off track.
Okay, now because I am a geek and I'm a proud geek, you say bring out your inner geek.
Bring out your inner geek. One of the things I talk about in my book, The 10 Ks of Personal Branding, is your brand online. People need to be able to access information about you. So bring out your inner geek. Have a blog, a website, something that when they Google your name, something positive comes up about your skills, your capability, and how you add a valuable contribution.
Is that all a part of the connectivity that you recommend by staying connected? Is that part of that?
It's very much a part of that because you have to stay connected to your industry. You have to show your skills, even if you're waiting. So write into industry insights online. Talk about what you know and how you can add value in a specific discipline of skill. Okay, now those are the do's. Here is the big don't. Don't waste time. Don't waste your time. And don't waste time. What do you mean by that? So a lot of people are sitting on a couch, waiting, and just sending out resumes waiting. Do not wait. Every day that you wait creates a deficit. So get out there and volunteer your skills. Get out there and actually apply the knowledge of learning a new language and all the things we talked about to help make you marketable as you're looking for active work. Got it, because as you said, and I agree with this, the first job doesn't make your career. Meaning I did a lot of other things before I kind of ended in this chair right here, so that's okay. That's okay. You have about 2 years when you start your career to actually do something before it really starts to stunt your career. So, but the key is whatever you do, even if it's off track, make sure it's connected to a professional skill that positions you for opportunity down the road. Those were, Kaplan, those are wonderful tips. We've got them, by the way, on our website. By the way, you have a great book out. Yes, it's right here. The 10 Ks of Personal Branding. So for all of the tips that Kaplan Mobray just talked about, just log into our website. There's a book right there, by the way. I don't know if we can get a shot of that. Just log into our website, myfoxatlanta.com, and click on the Good Day tab. Yes. Kaplan, thank you so very much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
This is the Fox 61 Morning News.
Sarah, this is an interesting subject. What happens when you're at a company and you start to feel like maybe they're just not into you anymore? Do you know the warning signs? What can you do about it? Well, career consultant and author of the 10 Ks of Personal Branding, Kaplan Mobray, is here to tell us all about it. Good to see you, Kaplan.
Great to see you. Great to see you.
Thanks for coming on the program. So what are the warning signs that the company you work for maybe just isn't into you anymore? You know, it's always important to understand not just the pace at which you work, but also the pace at which you receive work. Okay. So if you're not getting enough work to do, that's a sign. Right. If they hire someone to do the same job that you were doing, that's a sign.
And secondly, if you're not being invited to meetings to actually represent your work, that's also a sign.
Right. So maybe just you get this overall feeling that they're just kind of not into you, right?
Exactly.
What about if they start reading your emails? Is that kind of a warning sign?
It is. They could be looking for information that targets the fact that maybe you are spending too much time on Facebook or something like that.
Right.
So, but your employees do monitor your emails.
So what do you do if you start to sense that this is happening?
You start looking, you start sharpening your skills, and you start networking to actually find that next opportunity, because you are still delivering value, but it may not be recognized by your employer.
Is there a way to somehow save your job, try to get to those meetings, try to do something, work harder, be more active?
You can create a miracle, you can create a new product, you can create a new idea, or you can create a reputation for your company that now puts you at the spotlight of value. If you do that, you can save your job, but it's got to be big and it's got to be noticeable.
Okay, there's something called a performance plan that you talk about. What is that?
Right. A performance improvement plan, some people call it a PIP, is actually a formal notice by your company that you are not meeting expectations.
Okay.
And if you receive a PIP, what I say is get some pep in your step and start looking for a new job, because it's an early warning sign. However, you can turn it around, but whenever you get feedback, it's important to actually accept it and do better.
If, God forbid, you get fired, you get laid off, can you do anything right after that? Say, can you negotiate some kind of an agreement for you to leave?
The reality is, and something I talk about in the 10 Ks of personal branding, is your employer wants you to be a brand ambassador, even if you got laid off. So it's actually important to actually don't just leave out the door. Ask for something, and that may be a reference, a referral, or some type of separation agreement that allows you to be tied to your company positively.
So we've talked a little bit about if your business doesn't seem to like you anymore, what do you do? And maybe you're out the door and you can't do anything about it. What do you do to avoid that from happening? In other words, what can you do to personally brand yourself so that you're the best person and nobody wants to get rid of you?
First thing you do is community service. Get out there and be a spokesperson or an ambassador for your company in a positive way that is visible. People do not like a spotlight on cheerleaders. Companies do not lay off cheerleaders. So become that company spokesperson and get yourself involved with the community as a great way to save face.
Some of your 10Ks to create a better you. You talk about know thyself, know what you want to be known for, be consistent, accept failure as a way to build your personal brand. Talk a little bit about some of those things.
You see, when you fail, but you learn, and then you grow, you actually add more value to your company. And companies hire people because they can accept people who overcome problems and challenges. So tell your company what you learned, tell them the value that you can create, and most importantly, institute that value on your job.
I think what's interesting about this book is it's not just a book to read, it's actually a workbook, really. You have actual pages in here where you ask questions of the reader and they're supposed to answer these questions, and it really makes you think about things. Here's a question: what are you capable of? And you've really got to sit down and think, you know, what am I capable of? What do people want to learn from me? What do I have to contribute to the world and to this organization?
Exactly. Once you know yourself, the value you deliver, and the impression that you want to leave, that's how you drive value. And once you know yourself, that's how you build a brand. So it's really important to ask yourself those tough questions. And then actually deliver those skills on your job.
Where can people get the book?
The book is available on BarnesandNoble.com, Amazon.com, anywhere where books are sold. But it's actually, this is the important time to focus on your personal brand, especially now in this age of unemployment or this age of coming out of the recession.
You got it. The 10 Ks of personal branding. That's the one. Kaplan Mobray. Good to see you, Kaplan.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Sarah, over to you.
Okay, if you are in the market for a new job, you know it's not easy out there. You need to do everything you can to make yourself really stand out.
And interviewing, that's definitely one of the best ways that you can get noticed. Career consultant Kaplan Mobray is here today with some tips on how you can get your name out there and, of course, land that job.
That's right.
That's the name of the game here. So you say there are some things that we should not do. What are the most common mistakes that people make when they go out on that interview?
You know, the economy is picking up, so a lot of people are going to be in interview rooms looking for jobs. The biggest mistake they make is, one, asking for information about the company. You see, the employer's already taken the time to do research on you, the candidate, so you should actually do your research on the company. So that's one of the biggest mistakes. The other one is actually presenting your qualities and not your skills. A lot of people go into interviews and they present, I'm a passionate person, I'm a great team player, but they never talk about what they actually do to drive a result.
Or what you have done in the past.
Or what you've done in the past.
That's interesting. You always hear, ask that question, ask questions. Don't just be answering the questions. But I think that scares the bejesus out of a lot of people because they think, what am I going to say that they haven't already said? What would you recommend?
Well, first thing is to talk about why you are there and how you can make a difference for that particular company. And specifically ask a question about what is a specific problem that that company is looking for, and how can you, as the candidate,